What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Twink Revolution. I'm Sam.
I'm Gian, and it's episode 40, which is a big milestone for us. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Yeah, it's episode 40. Let's go with that.
Sure, if I can count. Anyway, if you've been enjoying Twink Revolution, please remember to share it, leave a mean review on Apple Podcasts, and listen to some shitty ads on Spotify, whatever those people do when they're listening to these podcasts. But we really appreciate everyone who's been signing up for the Twink Revolutionary Core.
Yeah, hopefully you're all being educated.
Being miseducated. It's the miseducation of Lauren Twink.
Yeah. But as you all know, Corona still going on. And
what? Wait, what? Sorry, you need to slow down and explain that to me.
So there's this thing called coronavirus, and it's bad or something.
Wait, what?
But it's gotten worse. Because Folsom Street Fair, everyone's favorite S&M festival in San Francisco,
God damn it,
isn't canceled. Instead, it's going to be online.
So how exactly does that differ from? Let's say I'm a man with needs, and I log on to the World Wide Web. I take an on-ramp to the information superhighway, and I decide, I would love to see some erotic material that is maybe a little peculiar.
So porn.
No. Wow. Excuse me. I'm a sophisticate. I have a kink. I want to see some leather. And I log on to the information superhighway on a particular date, and having gentrified and bulldozed the information ghettos to build my information superhighway, I find that there's a place for me now.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that how this works?
I don't know. I'm always like hungover or something whenever I go to Folsom, and it's always like, oh, I'm gonna like wear a burqa basically, and while everyone else is in like underwear or pants because it's bright outside and I don't care to look.
I think we did a Folsom episode.
Yeah, we did.
Which is funny because I don't feel like we've been doing this for very long, and yet we are now a hyper successful podcast, and we've rolled around to where there's a controversy about Up Your Alley, which is Dory Alley.
Oh yeah, that's online too now.
So Dory Alley is online, and
Up Your Alley is too.
Yeah, so Up Your Alley is Dory Alley. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Folsom is also going to be online. So yeah. Anyway, if Folsom is your thing, if you want somebody to get whipped, or whatever the fuck else goes on. Then,
you want to see someone sit in a pool of piss?
Yeah. And
brown piss water.
And yeah.
No, I just thought.
And if the internet is not a place where you felt like you would find that content before, now you can.
I just thought of when we saw like piss pool, which you talked about far too many times on the podcast.
Oh yeah. Was
there any liquid to begin with, or did they just get a bunch of people to piss in it?
I don't want to know, Sam. I've been drinking wine, and I don't want to know.
I just want to know how this thing's going to work.
I don't want to know.
Also, Mayor London Breed, thank them.
God, her name.
Yeah, London Breed.
Breed. That's why she won, was just by being named Breed.
The game were like,
the gays were all like, yes, queen. Finally, somebody understands us.
But she congratulated them for putting it online as if they had a choice.
For being brave. It's so brave.
I wish they just canceled it. Like, the whole point of like any event is to be in person.
To be brave. No,
I
that's
fucking
the point.
hate all this online festival bullshit.
Oh, God, yeah. It's bullshit.
Because it's all like talking over everyone and everyone's annoying.
Sorry, what was... Oh, no, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, sorry, were you talking? I was not done talking with it.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry, I wasn't talking. No, okay.
Yeah, well, Gian's
I'm
drunk.
sorry, I wasn't talking.
I'm gonna stab you.
Sorry, I was just trying to simulate the experience of online Folsom.
Yeah, I would say we would do it.
Sorry, was it?
Shut the fuck up. So annoying. I would do it, but I fucking hate online shit, and I feel like this is gonna be the worst people online. So
no, it's the people who felt like they couldn't miss Folsom Street Fair this year.
I'd rather subscribe to Jacob Bull's OnlyFans.
Oh, you didn't yet?
No, there's no dick or ass. Actually, I don't know.
That's
I think there is ass. There's no
Finally.
dick or hole.
Well, I mean, in terms of prostituting yourself, there is a better option right now. Joseph P. Biden. Apparently, the Human Rights Campaign, which speaks for all of us, the gays writ large,
Totally.
they've endorsed him. Or have they actually endorsed him? They're about to endorse him.
They're about to endorse him.
Oh, I can't wait. So Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic nominee, has finally picked up that all-important gay dark money endorsement.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure no one's gonna vote for him except for like anyone making like over a 6-figure salary in the gay world.
Yeah. I mean, and anybody who literally works for the Human Rights Campaign. I'm not sure, like.
Oh yeah, so anyone making below like $25,000 at a nonprofit,
but for the exposure.
Yeah. This issue of nonprofit people is they make like jack shit and they're still like complete shills.
They act like rich people, but they don't make the money that would going to make them part of that class.
They're the equivalent to tech workers. They're like, oh, I live in a room with like 7 other people, but I'm actually rich because I'm working in like tech. That's how nonprofit world is.
That just got to check out.
Yeah.
So what do you think this important endorsement means for Joseph P. Biden?
Well, it means we're all going to be liberated, and Sylvia Rivera's dream of gay liberation is going to happen under Joe Biden.
We did watch that documentary, right?
Yeah, we were watching The Life and Death of Marsha P. Johnson.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Right?
And also like Sylvia Rivera. And
she's in there a lot.
Yeah. I love it because Sylvia Rivera, near the end of her like last 5 years of activism, was like, we need to destroy the HRC, which she's right. There's this
correct.
There's this famous speech of her like back in the day where she basically stormed the stage of like the middle class.
It was a gay lib presentation
in
New York in the 70s, I want to say, right?
Yeah, but they wouldn't let Marsha P. Johnson or Sylvia speak because they were upsetting to some people.
They were drag queens, basically, where they were considered, and that was potentially inflammatory.
Yeah, but she stormed up there and literally was getting booed and was like, you all like don't fucking care about anyone who's like poor in prison or working class. And yeah, she's pretty cool.
Yeah, she had a sort of sad end too.
No, she had a happy ending.
So a sad late.
Well, after
late
that
middle.
speech, I think she tried to kill herself because
she did,
and then she like slit her wrist, and then basically spent years just like living on the dock, which later got gentrified into some stupid fucking park.
Yeah, she was homeless and not having a good life. Homeless alcoholic basically, and nothing much said about her. And then
she got given a home by like one of like the people in her community.
Some other gay or trans activist.
And in her last 5 years, she became an activist again, and even spoke at like one of the first, like I think it was year 2000 World Pride or whatever in Italy, and was like.
And then she died of liver cancer.
Yeah,
not great.
Well, I mean, Marsha P. Johnson got possibly murdered, so
maybe murdered. That's the open question about that is what she got murdered on.
I think she was murdered.
I don't think she was murdered.
Or like at least like.
I think Carol Baskin fed Marsha P. Johnson to the tigers.
Or she fell in the water. I think that might have been what it was.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd like, as a messy bitch, I feel like I'm qualified to say what might I have fallen into in my darker times.
Yeah, but you're not as glamorous as Marsha.
Not even close. Good God.
Oh, I mean, it's like, for one, I have no personality outside of like, I'm like a person who sits in a bar and is like, yeah, I'm gonna drink here and listen to all of you talk about your lives and pretend I hate all of this. Well, I actually do hate it.
Sam, if you've ever interacted with them in person, very quiet.
Yeah, if you ever meet me in person and I'm like quiet as next to a bitch, just like I take.
It's just always like I'm not. I will. If I have a captive audience, you're stuck. There was no relief coming for you.
No. Yeah, but no one cares about the HRC endorsement.
Oh, wait, you're not voting Biden as a result of that?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Wow. So problematic, Sam. These are allies.
I'm also like loving all the stupid shitheads in San Francisco who are like, well, of course you're gonna vote for Biden. He's better than Trump. And I'm like, how do you know? Like, he probably actually made more money under Trump.
How did it happen?
Like, none of these people who say that are actually anyone who's felt any difference in economic terms.
Yeah, they're like my index fund investments have only gone up 17% in the last year.
It's all culture war shit.
Trump is problematic.
Yeah, it's all culture war shit, and they have no idea when, like, yeah, it's stupid. They're all
fuck all y'all.
Yeah. Speaking of stupid people, Owen Jones posted a really stupid tweet.
Who's Owen Jones?
So Owen Jones is a reporter, if we're going to use that term loosely, in Great Britain. He's the labor person. He was kind of one of the people who's like, oh, I'm going to actually argue and say there was anti-Semitism in like the labor left and still support Jeremy Corbyn, but like...
So yeah, he was sort of a one of the British socialists, ostensibly socialists, who said, yeah, there's all these charges of anti-Semitism leveled against Jeremy Corbyn and his inner circle. They're real. It's real, and it's true. And but I'm I'm going to argue against you about whether it matters or not. Basically,
he's the British Nathan J. Robinson.
He's a gay, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
but not
he got gay bashed.
Oh, did he?
I don't know.
Well, actually,
I tried. I tried to order a hit on him, but it didn't.
Online bashing doesn't count. We got to keep that tradition alive. I mean,
no. He posted a thing on Twitter about him being like harassed.
I'm joking. But he tweeted, "Why does Michael Gove, who's like some Tory politician, and his wife own a copy of a book by David Irving, one of the most notorious Holocaust deniers on earth?" And everyone in his mentions was like, wow, you can't read a book you disagree with? Like, for one, he's supposed to be a journalist, which is...
He's never read a book in his life.
No, I don't think he knows how to read. He's actually just a face of... a really horrible face for ghostwriters.
So, I mean, the main point going on here is that the Michael Gove and his wife had posted a picture, or his wife had posted a picture, I can't remember.
Yeah, of their bookshelf.
Anyway, of their bookshelf. And Owen Jones basically was in there with the highlight feature of his screenshotting app, being like, wow, I'm a copy of this. And the books involved was David Irving, who's a Holocaust revisionist. People say Holocaust denier. He's not. He's not that.
We're playing that game.
We're definitely playing that game. No. I mean, it's not even an important game to play. It's
I know.
I'm not saying either of these things are good. I'm saying they are different.
I'm joking.
Holocaust denialism is horrendous. Holocaust revisionism is horrendous. But they are not the same. They argue with each other. And the problem is people were saying David Irving's a Holocaust denialist. He's not. He's a Holocaust revisionist, which is different, but also awful.
Yes. Different shades of awful. 50 Shades of Awful.
Yeah. What else do you have? He had Atlas Shrugged on his bookshelf by Ayn Rand.
Yeah, let me look at his picture. What else was there on there?
The Bell Curve by Charles Murray.
Wonderful.
And so people were freaking out about this. And so the question I sort of posed was like, how do you have a perfect bookshelf? How do I know if a book is bad without reading it?
There's a Tony Blair book.
Oh, well, that's the worst. The worst unforgivable crime. It is a very large bookshelf, for the record. It's not insignificant. It is an entire wall-to-wall production.
Yeah, those are all the books I know from what he posted.
I don't know. Do you own any problematic books, Sam?
I own a lot of libertarian books that I inherited from
racist,
my day.
sexist,
Yeah.
patriarchy.
The funny thing is, though, when I actually acquired most of them, when I was at Coke Shell, I never actually read any of them. So
wow, not doing the work.
And I was like, do I want to get rid of them because I don't read them? Like, I'm never going to read most of them because they're crap. and like they're not even interesting crap. Like I'd read interesting stuff I disagree with.
Yeah.
But these are just like, oh, I'm gonna read a 1,000 page book that's like economics. I'm like, I don't want to read that. Like that sounds boring as shit. So I have them. I have plenty of books I don't agree with anymore that I have.
This concept is alien to me.
I had a raw vegan book once.
Oh no.
Where they told you like to not brush your teeth if you eat an all fruit diet and stuff. So I mean, I guess I have some.
That's good. That's a good book.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I was around for some of the bell curve controversy.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the bell curve and what sort of it is?
That's about IQ.
Sort of. Some of it is. It's about natural ability. The idea that there is ability that is not explained by class or
Cancelled.
upbringing, and I mean, whatever. So the thing is, I said it on Twitter, but I was around people who were telling me a lot of facts about the bell curve.
Yeah.
And about how it what it is and how it's an encomium to white supremacy.
Yeah.
Or that it's actually really good, or that it's misunderstood or whatever. And then I would say, what does it mean? Like I'd be like, oh, like do they control for such and such a factor? People would go, I don't know, I've never read it.
Yeah, it's like the Angela Nagel book, which I read reviews and stuff of it initially, and I was like, oh, this book's gonna be awful. Like this person's awful, and I had no idea. I was very early into my like leftist journey or whatever. But what I saw for like the film affair, I was like, oh, I like her, so I'm like confused. But when I read it, I'm like, this is the book everyone was mad about. Like no one read it.
I read it.
I mean, people critiqued it.
Sorry, I'm canceled now. I read it.
No, it's good. I like the book. But it's like that. Like every book they tell you not to read, it doesn't have to be good or like correct, but like
God, I have some horrible stories to tell about the Huckleberry Finn.
Those are the
Some of
books.
the character names are very questionable.
Those are the books to read because like otherwise they're just gonna like be completely censored and there's no actual discourse happening.
Well, that's the interesting thing about the bell curve is it's not a good book. And I say that not in the sort of like knowing I'm smarter than thou kind of way. And it's to say it presents some ideas that don't actually invite easy dismissal.
Yeah.
They invite dismissal eventually. And like it's worth reading the critiques of the bell curve. But it's worth reading the bell curve so you can understand the critiques of the bell curve.
Totally.
And so the problem is, if you have a copy of the bell curve on your shelf, are you a bad person?
Mm-hmm.
You gave him money, or Charles Murray and fuckface money. I don't know. This is a weird problem. Is to say there are ideas that are contained in that book that are not easily dismissed. I'm not saying they're right. They're wrong.
Well,
But they're not easily dismissed. And so the problem is people treating this as an easy solution. As in I can easily just dismiss them without having read the book, without having engaged with the ideas. Like what is it you think that discourse wars are? All like to these people, right? Everything is fucking discourse wars.
Yeah.
We just do more discourse. We just talk about like the discourse and anything about the discourse, and we do more discourse.
Yeah.
So reading the bell curve is worth it, and in that respect, it generates discourse.
Well, also like the implication that to have a book in possession means you agree with those ideas is just full on stupid.
No, I've got a copy of Harry Potter, and I think it's shit.
It's so stupid. I mean, especially the way you see like the discussion around censorship and books going within the free country of America, like more and more like high schools and shit are getting rid of books that have problematic language or are considered like too like Western or like stupid shit like this.
Canon.
Like luckily my high school had a lot of books that were censored in other districts. But it's like they all were important. Things like Brave New World has like a very awful ending. Like I'm not gonna say it because
No spoilers.
You should read it. Or like a lot of like
1984 has a kind of
a lot of Marxist-Leninists like critique, like, don't read 1984 or like Orwell, because
do read 1984. It's fine.
but like
you don't have to agree with it.
Yeah, but that's like the whole thing is, or even like Huckleberry Finn or shit like that, where they say like the N word or whatever. It's like, yeah, because that's a book of a time. Like, it doesn't mean people are like, yeah, racism was good after reading a book that says the N word. Like, I read Tolly's books, and I'm like, I don't use that word. I'm
right. I mean, if you want to understand something about what was going on in the world before, 2013, you will have to wade in some shit that is quote unquote problematic.
Like Camille Paglia, like her books got like a lot of clout around. Oh, don't read this; it's dangerous.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, I literally once I read that, I'm like, I want to read it. So I started reading it. It's long as shit. I'm on like chapter 4 and I'm like 13% done. But I'm like, it's good. Like,
books aren't fucking dangerous. This is nerd shit. Like, and I say that as a confirmed nerd. I say anybody who's trying to convince you that like, oh my God, it's dangerous. These ideas are dangerous.
It's dangerous because these people who are claiming they're dangerous is because they don't have any ability to argue against them, because they're so coddled, like baby is, that they're like, we actually need to ban it. It's like the whole like Milo or like Ben Shapiro on your campus. It's like, oh, you're so scared. Milo's like the dumbest person I've ever heard. He's like
so dumb. He's like, it's actually ableist to argue against Milo, because he's kind of there's a word I want to use to describe Milo, but I'm not going to use, but like, because it's ableist. But
retarded.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Wow, going hard R there. No, but it's to the point that to the extent that like Milo is not a smart person and his ideas are not sophisticated. But if you play the character, you sort of play possum, right? Where you're like, I am paralyzed by this. I can't deal with this. Oh my God, it's so dangerous. You're giving it a lot of power to an idea that wasn't good to begin with. And similarly, if you just simply take a book you disagree with, and I don't even care if you disagree with it for good or bad reasons. I'm simply saying, let's say Moby Dick offends your sensibilities because of the semen jokes. Then like, are you saying nobody should read Moby Dick and the state should censor Moby Dick? Because that's the word dick in the title, perhaps. And I'm like, no, just have people read it and be like, oh, these are kind of feeble dick jokes. Like, honestly, the dick jokes, not that good.
Also, I like listening to or reading people I disagree with or find
fascist.
Because like,
adjacent.
I like to know what people are actually saying, because you can actually understand where they're coming from and actually like point out how stupid they're. Like, I used to, like, when I was in like high school or college, I would like watch like Lauren Southern or like Blair White or like people considered like alt-right or whatever. Not because I liked a lot of their stuff, but because I wanted to know what the other groups were saying. Like, I recently was watching stuff from like British, like TERFs or whatever you want to call them, to understand their things. Like, oh, like
you can disagree with them, right?
Totally. Yeah. Like, I can watch something or read something like, oh, I can understand their viewpoint, but also recognize why it's wrong, or maybe you're wrong. Like, reading things isn't like all the same. Like, you could have like disagreements of like leftist or agree of some right.
I mean, to the extent that if you want to know what's wrong with the bell curve, say by Charles Murray and friend, I don't remember his name. Would you rather listen to a second-hand account by, Ancom NB666 on Twitter, who's never read this book, or I promise you, if you want to know what's wrong with that book, talk to me. I read the fucking book. It was a slog. It was fucking bad, and it's bad and it's annoying in a bunch of ways. But like, I've read the book. Am I canceled? There's a copy of the bell curve in my house right now.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's here. It is in the house. I didn't pay very much money for it. I think I paid about $4 for it. But I paid money for the bell curve, and it is in my house, in my possession, because I don't throw out books.
Yeah.
And so the question is, like, if you want to know what's wrong with the bell curve and you want to hear an intelligent, tooting my own horn here, right? But I am numerically literate. I'm statistically literate. So I I can tell you what's wrong with the statistical analysis in the bell curve.
Yeah.
Do you want to listen to me, who has read it, and I admit to reading it, I admit to owning this book, or would you rather listen to Antifa 42069 on Twitter, who says, I was never at the bell curve, and my entire day is spent looking for bookshelf images on Twitter and canceling people who have it on their shelf. Like, I think the bell curve is a shitty book, but I don't think it's a shitty book because it contains dangerous ideas. I think it's a shitty book because it contains wrong ideas. And the ideas are wrong for reasons that require you to engage with the ideas in the first place. You have to, you actually have to comprehend what the thesis of the book is. You have to comprehend what analysis they're applying to do it. And you have to read the fucking book.
Yeah.
And that's why it has stuck around, I think, in so many ways for so long, is because people don't read it because it's too dangerous to read. It's forbidden knowledge. It's like, not. It's a fucking shitty, feeble argument made with some pretty shitty, feeble numerical arguments, like statistical arguments. And literally just read it and you'll be like, oh, okay, that's why that's unpersuasive. And if anybody asks you ever again about the bell curve, you can say, here's why this is unpersuasive.
Also, if your issue's like, oh, I don't want to like give money to them, go to the library. Like, you don't need to pay money.
You have a library in your
or buy secondhand. Like,
that's how I got it for $4.
Yeah, like honestly, for so long when I was a libertarian, I would always just get Marxism or like the communist socialist perspective from like secondhand sources, and I was like, oh, they hate everything about like what capitalism's done and blah blah. And then I did a program with the Charles Koch Institute, which fucking sucked.
Hot.
Yeah. And they made us read books that we disagreed with for part of it. And one of them was...
Sam was too triggered and then became a Marxist.
No, they made us read on the Communist Manifesto.
Triggered.
And I read it and I was like, oh, turns out I didn't know anything. And I feel so stupid. And unlike most people who are like, oh, it just sounds good, but in practice it was bad. And instead I was like, oh, well, I already had like my disagreements with the Kochs and stuff at that point, but I was like, it's going to get me a job, and I didn't really care at the time. But look what happened to me, so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you read a problematic book within that frame, that social frame, right? The Communist Manifesto is just an anthem of genocide.
Totally.
Just doing cultural Marxisms and murdering the minorities or whatever the fuck it is.
All those abortions.
Yeah, exactly. We're reading the Victims of Communism Foundation statistics.
All the Nazis they killed.
How dare they?
Yeah, how dare they kill the Nazis?
The war dead of Germany is the victims of communism.
Think of how stupid that is. That you like.
It is spectacularly stupid.
Yeah.
Impressively, and all the abortions in China, I believe, are also in the count now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many dumb figures.
I think it's was it World is a Fuck, 420 billion dead cops or whatever is the that's the meme. I don't know. I can't reproduce it on command. So this week also, friend of the pod Venezuela.
Yeah, Daddy Maduro
had an unsuccessful coup attempt.
Yeah, so this Miami-based, or I think it's Fort Lauderdale, whatever group called Silvercorp, had two of its mercenaries caught by some fishermen and like the Venezuelan Navy.
Awkward.
They killed 8 of them, but they caught 2 of them, and they had their passports and shit, and basically showed it on TV and like, yeah, we caught you.
They were their civilian American passports.
And the whole goal...
It was weird. They had stamps on like the third page saying like, hello, I'm an international mercenary.
Yeah. And the whole goal apparently was this like 12-person aqua team was going to like take over an airport and allow planes to land in the country and
take the
stage a coup.
Caracas airport, which would then open the door during quarantine as well. Fuck them.
I don't care. It's not
real. Why are we not Karening them about the like? I was not seeing them wearing masks while they were out trying to stage a coup, like a weird like fucking black site coup against Venezuela.
Also, Silvercorp shut down their Twitter after this whole scandal.
Rude.
And Juan Guaido is claiming he didn't have ties, but there's actual
He had ties.
There was ties.
Sue us, bitch.
And the American mercenaries were like Green Berets.
Well, they're squealing like pigs now, though. That's the funny thing. There's
Yeah.
videos all over Twitter and shit of the these elite high-level operators who are trying to run the Venezuelan coup on behalf of a private corporation, like an American corporation.
Yeah.
They're all now just like singing like canaries. They're all like, yeah, well then at 11:29 a.m. I drove with so and so and so and so, and we drove across the board. Like I'm like, wow, like this is the peak of American fucking like mercenary craft. Fuck these people.
Well, the crazy thing is, this isn't the first time in the Donald Trump administration that they've actually been in a country during basically a takeover. During the Brazilian 2018 election, when Lula was falsely imprisoned, when he had double the voting number of any candidate, Silvercorp was in the country and was going to stay in there for 11 days until all the votes were counted.
These people are very mediocre.
Yeah. So clearly there was something going on. They're like, why the fuck would a mercenary group be in Brazil during an election when
they're a private security firm?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like under the People's Republic of the United States, our like the People's Mercenary Internationalist Corps will be more competent.
Yeah, and
I would do a better job. If you sent me to Venezuela to try and overthrow a government, I would do a better job, and I'm a sort of sedentary like podcaster.
How would you go on water? There's no cover.
Exactly. I'm just saying, I like if you gave me that job, the most unqualified person for this job, would do a better job of this.
Yeah. And Silvercorp people have been reposting their tweets, and one of their account basically targeted an RT journalist, Erica Sanoja, and basically they said to her, "Mercenaries get paid to rid the world of Maduro shills like you. I gladly do this work for free." And so basically, like,
wait, so we're not paying them?
Well, Donald Trump said he didn't choose them because everyone can believe.
Yeah, no, Donald Trump didn't pay them. It's CIA paid them.
There's no collaboration at all. I'm glad they're caught. I mean, it just shows like they're not gonna. I think the end of like regime change is kind of over, because like look what's happening. Syria's not collapsing. Venezuela's not collapsing. Iran's not collapsing. Like China literally said today, they will not let Venezuela get regime changed.
Hell yeah.
I
mean, it's kind of the end of this like soft power.
We can't even do Iraq or Afghanistan correctly. Like it's been how long? 18 fucking years.
At least. Yeah.
Like we can't do it anymore. We're like Bolivia was like a different case because their military wasn't like converted on ideas of like socialism, whatever. But also much smaller country and just started to have relations with like Russia and China.
But it's not clear whether we can we do this soft power thing anymore, right? Like where we're like, okay, we'll just send in some wet work operators from a private contractor and they'll do the nasty bits. And then when that destabilizes the country, we can swan in and say, oh, well, we send the professionals and we're just trying to help.
Well, yeah, because at the time when all of these things were happening, there was no counter narrative. But now you have things like Telesur and RT and like CGT and like all these internationally focused
Putinist stooges.
Yeah, all of them. You have these international media things that can like actually refute the narratives, or at least give a challenge to the narrative that no longer just lets people buy into like Radio Free Europe, Radio Free Asia bullshit.
That's my playlist. It's my Spotify playlist.
But it's true. I think we're seeing a multipolar system kind of emerge as the EU and US kind of collapse due to neoliberalism, and Russia and China and like Latin America start to like resurge and like influence and like economic power.
It's a sort of odd time to do these things though, right? I mean, given that like most, of the 300 million Americans who are paying for this bullshit are at home or on the front lines as quote unquote essential workers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's because all the news cycle is coronavirus. So we started bombing Iraq again. We tried
Hot.
to we've trying to do Iran shit. We keep spreading propaganda about North Korea's leader being dead to like incite a coup.
He's not dead, right?
He's not dead.
Yeah, no, I have to issue a retraction because I said pretty proudly during last hour, I was like, oh, no, I think he's dead.
And I said he wasn't. So
Yeah, Sam was right.
I mean, his sister.
Oh, one of his clones is on.
And not like they're trying to do it they tried to do Venezuela like twice, I think.
At least. I mean, they tried to do Venezuela when Chavez was in power.
But I mean, like since the coronavirus shit, like it's so pathetic, and they're losing like what is like left in Syria to take over. It's like Idlib, which is that'd be
great for them. I love that for them.
Yeah, it'll be taken over, which is good if you're not into Salafi jihadism, but
I am.
Yeah,
it's fine. No. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sad that this is what we've been reduced to. We had such an impressive empire going.
Yeah, totally.
And we can't even keep it going in that regard.
Because it's just, well, I mean, for one, I'm glad it's falling, and I assume you're glad it's falling too.
Wow. No, they're making assumptions.
Yeah, but it does show liberalism. Let's say like it was a good thing, which I don't think it is. It shows it's completely in decay, and it's literally grasping for straws to maintain any power when other countries are proving to be more effective, especially.
Right, the hegemony is not really holding up under the slightest amount of pressure. And it's funny, we literally sent like the worst mercenaries. They're not even like good mercenaries.
No,
it's like they start singing like canaries when they're literally being interviewed without torture.
Totally
horrible.
And I think we're seeing a lot of this crash back in the American left, where we have like, I don't know, Current Affairs and Jacobin and like Molly Crabapple and all those stupid people
dropping banners. I believe.
Yeah, but they're all trying to like justify intervention without saying they're doing so by like attacking anyone who just like defends countries fighting against imperial action, or anyone who even mentions multipolar like being a good thing in the world, because having only the U.S. hegemony is great, but they're literally attacking anyone who has this idea as if they're like Nazball Strasserites, which is just ridiculous.
Which they are.
Yeah, totally. Or like a sadist or whatever. Like for
one. Yeah,
no,
there's the easiest slurs.
It's not even a thing. Anybody. There's no ideology around Assad. Like, what are you talking about?
There is. It's about being wrong online. It's the ideology of Assad.
They're just mad because Assad has a hot wife.
And the funny thing, right, is you don't have to agree with, Bashar al-Assad.
No, I talked to people who are like diaspora from like Syria and like Lebanon and stuff, and they're like, hey, he's not our top choice, but like we'd rather have him than like Salafi jihadists who just want to.
Well, that's Assadist. That's what you're describing there.
Totally. It's just crazy.
All right. Well, remember to share some Twink Revolution with your friends.
Yeah. Or don't. You don't have to.
Or don't. We don't care. But we're on Apple Podcasts. Remember to leave a mean podcast review there. There's a few of them there. If you haven't checked out Twink Revolution on Apple Podcasts, highly recommended.
Yes.
On Spotify, they'll give you some ads if you're on the free version. Yeah, remember to buy a Casper mattress or some bullshit in the middle of us talking about this shit. It's great. It's great. Like definitely do that. Like it's great.
Yeah.
And we're also on YouTube. Check out Twink Revolution on YouTube. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.